Today's topic is, can a Buddhist become a Christian? And the short answer is, depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to a Christian, he'll say, of course not. If you're talking to a Buddhist master, well, he's got to call you on your stuff. He might just say, well, what makes you think you're not a Christian already? And then you say, well, the Buddha taught morality, ethics, compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, rejoicing in the merit and virtue of others. The Buddha taught generosity, kindness, and peace. And then the Buddhist master will say to you, well, doesn't Christianity teach the same thing? And then you will say, yeah, of course they do. I know that. But they believe in a creator. And they believe in a soul. And we believe in no self. And we believe in no creator. We believe everything's empty. And then the Buddhist master would just say, well, you know, that belief won't get you very far because it's not rooted in understanding. And there's a big difference between saying, I understand something through experiential realization, and I believe because a Buddhist text told me so. The Buddhist master might say, well, you say you believe in no self, and that the Christian believes in a self, a soul. You might say, well, what's the difference? What are you going to say? Well, our text says there isn't one, so that's the way it is. Well, the Christian's going to say the same thing. And he might be a little bit smarter and be able to justify his position a lot better than we can justify our position. He might be able to justify a view of self and choose to debate it with us on those grounds. And there are Buddhists, lower levels of Buddhism, mid-range Buddhists that do believe in a self. And even the high-range Buddhist masters, you know, the higher views, so-called Madhyamaka, Vajrayana, Tantra, they believe that actually, at least provisionally, to believe in a self is essential for Dharma practice, because if you don't have a strong sense of self, strong sense of who you are, it's going to be impossible to endure the rigors of the path, so you have to have a strong sense of self. Any Buddhist master will tell you that, because it's a bridge to practice. If you just simply say, well, everything's empty and there's no self and everything, well, without any understanding of the matter, it just not going to be very helpful for you to develop practice. So, and then if you try and say, well, the Buddhist says there's no creator, nothing is produced. And then the Christian say that there is a creator. And the Buddhist master says, yeah, but again, you're just speaking from words. Have you experienced it, the fact that there's no creator? Have you understood it on a level that it's helpful to you? If you're just repeating what's in a book, well, anybody can do that. And whether you're Christians saying that, well, there's a self, a soul, or Buddhists saying there isn't one. If neither one of you understand what you're talking about, then you're both in the same boat. So the reality of the whole thing is that a Buddhist is a Christian by default. It's ingrained in us to believe in a self. It's ingrained in us to believe in production. We see it all the time, everything around us. Cars are produced, houses are produced, people are produced, dogs and cats are produced. We see production all the time. To take apart that ingrained, deeply embedded view of production is not going to happen by believing what it says in books. It's going to happen through deep meditation. And believe me, it has to be very deep meditation to get you there. Because repeating what's in the text won't get you very far. And a skilled Christian with an inferior view will slaughter you in debate completely. So, until we're pretty much on the stage of what I've been told by 3 different Buddhist masters, very enlightened Buddhist masters, on separate occasions, is that a Christian who practices will get all the way up to the 8th stage, Bodhisattva stage. There's only 10 stages, so he's almost at the top. As a Buddhist, most of us can only dream of getting that far. So, though we identify with the Buddhist path, until we understand it through experiential realization, it's easy to see that our realization can in fact be much inferior to a sincere Christian practitioner who actually does his homework. So the distinction between a Buddhist and a Christian only really occurs, at least through understanding, on the higher levels of development. And this shouldn't be of any surprise to anyone who's ever read the histories of some of the great Buddhist practitioners and Christian practitioners and seen the skill that they have developed in their meditation. So a Buddhist master, if you ask, can I become a Christian? He might just say to you, you already are, except for the fact that you're studying as a Buddhist. But until you attain greater realization, you're pretty much in the same boat as all the Christians. Which is a good thing to know, because it humbles us a bit and it causes us to understand the path that we're on, whether it be Christian or Buddhist or something else. And Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism in particularly, grew out of the development of refining views to compete with each other, to grow. And so it's very healthy to investigate other traditions and see why, what determines and what actually makes your tradition better, beyond just saying it is. Because saying it is without understanding is just a lazy man's path, and it will not be helpful for realization. So Buddhists should get rid of the idea of being a Buddhist without really giving up the path, and Christians should get rid of the idea of being a Christian without giving up the path. Same goes for everyone else, because these distinctions are useless.